You know, there's street food and then there's street food. And then there is the category of legends of street food. And what we're going to cook today is one of those legends. Hi, I'm Chef Ranveer Brar. You're watching India in 21 Recipes and we're going to cook a legend, Pav Bhaji. So bhaji literally translated means vegetables. Pav literally translated from Portuguese means bread. So it's basically bread and vegetables. Now what you do with the bread and the vegetables is what makes this dish so exciting. Like what I am doing with my Swiss Modern Santoku is what's going to make the cuts exciting. So the Santoku is my go-to knife for a reason. It just gives me the thickness of the blade and just gives me a more cleaver-like appeal because of the flatness of the blade. So I don't really have to rock my knife. I just prefer using a Santoku. So my go-to knife, and I always tell this to people, if you had to have one knife blade, make sure it's a Santoku blade. Another reason why I love using the Santoku is because the length of the blade allows for precision. So normally we say approximately a 15 centimeter blade gives you a good control over the tip. A longer blade would give you lesser control over the tip. So hence, if you want precision, you should look for between a 10 and a 17 centimeter sort of a blade. The biggest problem with high water vegetables is that they get bruised and the shelf life sort of goes for a 6. And it's true for a lot of delicate green vegetables. Mumbai is one of those few cities that actually enjoys a proper European lineage. At first the Portuguese till the 1660s gave Mumbai, they gave it bread, they gave it this entire bakery culture, and then later the Britishers came in and created what is known as London of the East in today's South Mumbai. So these are the 3 important things that you need to pre-cut and keep ready if you're going to make a pav bhaji. Bell peppers, onions and tomatoes, right? The rest of the vegetables can be cut any way you want. These, try and cut them fine but not very fine because you need the chunkiness as well. So if I had to sort of explain it to you, this is a good dice size. So the fine chopping is done, the peeling is left. So this is a Rex peeler and this one is a 75-year special edition 2022 version. Let me tease you a little bit more. This is plated with 18 karat pure rose gold. And if you always wondered what this was supposed to do in a peeler, you're just supposed to take out the eyes like this. You know why this design is iconic? Obviously, it's comfortable, ergonomic, but it's an iconic design because this design was started in 1947. So while it's 75 years of our independence, it's also 75 years of the Rex peeler. How cool is that? I always say the easiest way to understand a pav bhaji for a non-Indian is to just say it's an Indian sloppy joe, and that's exactly what it is. And the 2 iconic street foods of Mumbai, whether it is a vada pav or a pav bhaji, have 2 of the most important aspects of Portuguese lineage, potato and bread, and 2, they are built around 2 of the most important aspects of Mumbai, mills and trains. While vada pav got invented outside a train station for people who were commuting in a hurry, pav bhaji was invented for the mill workers who didn't want to sort of get their hands dirty because the white cotton that they'd work on would get dirty. So they figured out a way to eat the curry with the pav, eventually creating pav bhaji today. So between vada pav and pav bhaji is where you can easily come to understand what Mumbai is and what Mumbai stands for. Again, if you want to pressure cook these veggies, you can pressure cook them, or you can just boil them, but boil them till they are nice and mushy. Mushy being the important adjective here. Some salt, not too much of it, because we're going to add loads of butter. I always say Pav Bhaji is three things: butter, butter and butter. So you sort of boil it, stew it, coffee it, whatever you like to call it, but you have to cook it not with too much water, but with a fair amount of butter. Let it cook till it's nice and mushy. This aroma of butter is what defines a good base for a Pav Bhaji. So mash your vegetables well, and that's why it's very important to overboil your veggies. Time to add the second butter. Here you are. A lot of different people use different methods. What I say that there is no method to this madness. What you really need to remember is that the vegetables shouldn't really get brown. They shouldn't overcook. It's about sweating the vegetables well, sort of creating a coffee of these veggies, which in this case is onions, bell peppers and tomatoes, in sort of a slow simmering state with butter. And now we add some ginger garlic paste. So this is a basic, the most basic combination for a Pav Bhaji masala: onions, tomatoes, bell peppers. So there are different kinds of utensils that are used in Indian cooking. Every utensil has a different purpose. There are woks or kadhais. The basic purpose is stir frying, sauteing, or just stir frying and covering and cooking. Then there is a pot or the patila for braising, long cooking, lentils, soups, rasam, sambars, and then there is a tawa or the griddle. The objective of the griddle is for flash cooking. So when you have a strong fire at the bottom and you want things to keep their textures for long and cook in a flash, then you put them on a griddle. And the entire family of tawa chicken, tawa paneer, pav bhaji, tawa rolls, tawa pulao is all cooked in a flash. And hence overcooking the vegetables when you cook them on a tawa is inherently in conflict with the whole concept of cooking on a tawa. So this is the chili powder for color and not for kick. That's why I took the liberty of adding so much. So I've added Pav Bhaji masala. You can add at least 70% of the quantity right now into the tempering and the 30% later. Time to add the veggies. Again, remember the trick is to keep it runny, but a good Pav Bhaji has to be runny. Remember the butter conversation? So butter is gone in the veggies, butter is gone in the sauteing, and now the final butter which goes to finish. So the bhaji should at least be this sloppy. I always say the sloppier the better, but at least it should be as runny as what you see on your screens right now. At least as runny. Every time you're using a bread knife, always use it in a saw motion. When you use it in a saw motion, it's less effort and the texture of the bread doesn't get damaged. So did I tell you have to grease the pan with the butter before toasting your bread? Yeah. Might have been a tad bit lengthy, but it's not difficult. Trust me, Indian food is not difficult. Just close your eyes, think of Mumbai in the 50s and the 60s, the mills, the trains, the hustle, the bustle, and you'll fall in love with this dish. And there are a lot more dishes to fall in love with. I'll be back because the journey is on India in 21 recipes. I'll see you around.